All right, hey everyone, and welcome to the debut episode of my channel, DK Luos. I'm Derek, and honestly, I'm really excited to finally get this channel started. It's been a long time coming, and I'm happy to get started. We're going to dig into a lot of cool topics like systems, AI, automation, operations, entrepreneurship, also just a lot of life stuff, because all of this, it's connected. Your work, your time, your relationships, your energy, it all fits together and I want to be able to help you build systems that actually give you more room for the parts that matter to you. People always ask me, whenever I'm starting these topics and, talk about my work, like, how did I get into all of this? How did I get into automation, AI? How did I get into operations? And the funny thing is, I really don't remember the exact moment. It wasn't planned, it was always kind of just happening. Like when I was a kid, I loved playing with my Lionel train sets, but I wasn't pretending to be a conductor or anything like that. Like I just loved building out the tracks to go to different routes and planning them out, timing the cars when they would switch, when we would load up this coal that like my parents got me for Christmas that I really wanted coal for my trains. And just, kind of figuring out how to make everything run smoother. And that was before I even knew what like systems, automation, spreadsheets, planning, workflows even were. I was just a kid having fun, and I found this stuff fun. In college, I went out and I studied sculpture, which kind of sounds like the opposite of automation and planning. Everyone always looks at art as something that's, more fluid and creative juices in the moment, but I really like the process more than the actual results. Like I was the one building jigs so that I could make 10, 20 versions of something really quick. And, part of my entrepreneur spirit, I remember like making these like wooden pipes that I would sell at like house parties and stuff like that and I would build things in sculpture classes just to make this process of workflows easier. And honestly, that's kind of still how I like to operate. I love figuring things out. I love building systems that scale. I like being the guy who like can turn around and be like, cool, I built this workflow, but how can we make it better? It works, but let's make it work even better now. And my real break into like systems automation was when I worked at a night auditor in a resort when I was out in Florida for a spell. Everything that was set up was so manual and just everything. I didn't really have time to balance both working with guests as well as doing all the paperwork. And I, like a lot of people during that time, I just had to go through to Google and I had to look up Excel formulas. And I started to build out these small automated processes on Excel that would just compile information. And after a while, I was able to just like build out some really cool systems that let me get my job done in a couple of hours and I spent the rest of the time with guests. And that's kind of the thing I really want to highlight because this is a central theme that's going to be around this channel and a lot what I'm going to talk about is that good systems, good workflows, and especially automation helps you connect with people. You get to connect with them so much more, not less. Like AI and all this stuff is making us connect again. I was able to go from just typing out on the computer all night to actually interacting with guests and enjoying my job because that's what I wanted to do was talk with people. And I realized that something is really important with that is that automation and systems is not about removing people. It's about removing that part of the job that blocks you from being a human and doing what you want to do. And that really shaped everything for me. After I moved back to New York, I kind of spent most of my career in manufacturing, and that's where like all these systems and everything started to get real, both tangibly as well as like digitally. Manufacturing, you get to learn how physical spaces work. You get to, understand where humans shine and like, where the real human parts of work is, and then when machines should actually take over. And it's such a balancing act between the two. Like you learn the different processes between that looks good on paper but that actually works on the floor. And that's such an important distinction to have. And because I grew up in in this world, and especially built my career in this world, I approach digital automation differently. I don't come from a coding background. I'm not a software engineer, I'm not a designer, things like that. But I understand flow. I understand how systems should feel. I can walk through a process and say, this step is wasting time. This step needs structure. This step needs human judgment and even before going anything digitally, I can just pull out a notepad and I'm just making flowcharts by hand to do all of this and actually do the proper planning. And that's why I think people I connect a lot through this explanation of AI, because I'm not coming with some technical lecture. I'm coming to say, hey, this is just like the real world. If your system is clean, your automations work beautifully. If it's broken, you're gonna suffer. And that is honestly so true that we've all learned right now playing around with AI and automation is that you need to make sure everything works well. Fast forwarding today, that's kind of why I founded my company, Aranea.Group. Um, People just kind of jumping in right now to AI and wondering, why it's not helping them, why it's slowing down. They're automating stupid things that it's easier for you to just do as a human. And the answer is pretty obvious. They're trying to automate bad systems. And look, we've all been there. You think this tool is going to save you. You see an Instagram post, you're like, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to try it. It's going to fix my company. It's going to fix everything for me, but your workflows were messy and it's unclear. Knowledge lives with certain people and it wasn't shared for everyone. There's no tool in the world that's ever gonna fix that. You just are gonna make chaos move faster, and you're just gonna kind of have all these garbage lines everywhere in your workflow. And that's another thing I really want to talk about on this channel is something that people really miss. Again, like automation is so deeply human. It gives us more space to breathe. It gives us more time to think, talk, connect, and be present. Like we can all actually work on this workflow stuff together, and then you can have the automation do it. Like this is going to pull us out of the grind so we can actually show up in our own lives. And, people hear the word automation and they think that their jobs are going away, but, history, while that's true for a certain level, it ends up creating more and more jobs as well as creates, ways to enjoy life. Like old school automation in manufacturing and food service allowed us to have more free time in life and to actually enjoy it because we're not drowning in the small minutia that no one gives a crap. And that's really where things are going to go right now with digital automation. And, I've seen this in my manufacturing jobs. I've seen this in hospitality. Hell, I saw this in one of my first companies that I created, which was a spice packing and mixing company. And, you can't automate your way out of a bad foundation. But once that foundation is solid, automation becomes a thing that lets you step into a bigger and better version of yourself and enjoy yourself. And now with AI, we have an opportunity that most people have never experienced before. You can build those workflows and tools that you use to require entire departments and like, ton of very, very expensive consultancy agencies. Like you can build those systems right now to support you in ways you didn't even think you needed. And the best part is you don't have to be a technical person to do it. You just have to do it and understand how the pieces fit together. And that's so important is the understanding process. And that's kind of where I want to teach people is not theory, not hype, none of this like AI doom and gloom or also AI is your salvation. I want to just get into the real stuff with you. The stuff that makes your life easier, the stuff that gives you more time for you, your families, your hobbies, your goals, whatever you want to make room for. That's like the real ethos of this is freeing up your time to concentrate on the stuff you give a crap about. Like, I'm a new dad. I just have a son who just turned 4 months old last week. His name is Dimitri, and I love spending all my time with him that I can. But I also run multiple businesses, and I'm still having time right now to talk with you today and make this channel because of these systems that I develop in my personal and professional life. I designed them to support me and my life instead of just taking over my life. And that's what I want for you as well. So that's kind of an overview about me and what this channel is going to be. It's again going to be a mix of business and life, a mix of AI and practical tools, a mix of strategy, quality of life hacks that save your time. And honestly, if this resonates with you, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and drop a comment on what you want to see me talk about in this channel. Like, believe me, again, a human connection. I'm going to be there reading your comments, and I'm going to see what you want me to talk about to shine a little light of my expertise. And like, I'm kind of building this as much for you as I'm building it for me. Like, I'm excited, you're excited, and yeah, we're just going to get this started and see what we can build together. All right, I'll see you in the next one.